Tales of Wells Fargo, starring Dale Robertson, usually seen at this time, will not be seen tonight so that we may bring you the following special program.
Word Balloon is brought to you by... Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
The Universal monsters are kind of just another set of icons to me. The Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from Black Lagoon, Frankenstein Monster, Dracula, the Wolfman, Invisible Man, and the Mummy. Approaching these monster characters intellectually is not such a different thing than the superheroes, except there's not really going to be an interpretation where I might bring to superheroes that are normally identified as drawings first, specifically because of these screen adaptations, because of those actors and the way they looked in portraying those roles.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners.
Hello. I think we're up and rolling, John.
Oh, buddy, clearly we're having some glitchy problems here at Word Balloon, and I apologize.
No worries. Oh, your video is a little choppy, but we'll make it work. And looks like you're
muted. We'll make it work. Sorry, everybody. Yep. You know something, Jim? I'll let you take over. I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to sign back in, and hopefully that will clear things up.
No problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jim Sub.
This is kind of amazing. I just became the host of John Suntras's Word Balloon, thanks to the power of the internet. So thank you for having me. I was going to tell John that it's been almost exactly a year since last time we chatted, but I guess I will have to do that once he logs back in. Welcome to Word Balloon. John is one of the best in the business when it comes to talking about the comic book industry, interviewing comic book talent, and really kind of giving a sense of the ebb and flow of how the comic industry works and what it's like to be in the business, what it's like to make comics, what it's like to build these stories and work on these iconic characters. And I can't tell you how, much of an honor it is to be on the show, especially since there are so many creators, that I am just a huge fan of over the years and have enjoyed hearing about. And that's John's flowers. He'll never know what I said until he checks the stream after the fact. So I was just going to say, John.
Matt Fraction used to leave me hidden messages.
Oh, that's amazing. So
continue.
I was just going to say, we met last time we chatted was almost exactly a year ago. It's like a year and a week. We chatted last time, like September 11th, 2024. So clearly the fall is a good time for us to catch up.
Well, and you have things going on in the fall. We're about to talk about Jim's upcoming issue of Conan, issue 25, big milestone. Here's the cover, everybody. Look
We
at
are
that
so
cover.
stoked.
And Jim, describe this issue.
I have to. So yeah, I've been the writer of Conan the Barbarian now for years. We relaunched the series at Titan in 2023, and it has just been a rocket ride ever since. Every art team we've had on the book so far has been phenomenal, and the current crew we've got is just stellar. So we just literally last week finished the story arc. Fernando Dagnino and Diego Rodriguez did just a phenomenal job. And as we were coming up on the issue 25, the good thing is we're planned that far in advance. I'm like long-term on the series. I'm going to be sticking around for years to come. And so we knew we knew issue 25 would be coming down the pipe. And so last year around this time, I was talking to Chris Patera and Ashley Hodgkins, my editors, and we were talking about how can we make this issue special? How can we really show people what it's all about? Oh yeah, there's some art from number 23. So stunning, man. Dagnino's just killer. And so for issue 25, I proposed that we were going to do self-contained story, all in one adventure. So you just get a complete Conan kind of quest from start to finish. It would be my first King Conan story because like the original Weird Tales magazine, we're jumping around the timeline rather than just going, one story after another. And I asked if we could try and get like an illustrator to do the full kind of issue. And the proposal came up. Alex Horley is a phenomenal painter. He's done a lot of great covers for us on the regular series and on Savage Sword of Conan, the anthology magazine. He's been wanting to do something ambitious, but I think he was thinking like maybe a painted story in Savage Sword, maybe like a 10 or a 12 pager. But we brought him this epic and we said, look, are you interested in doing this? And he signed on board. I said, how long is it going to take you to paint this? Like 36 story pages plus a wraparound cover. And he said, when can you get me the script? And so literally like 2 weeks later, late September last year, I gave him the script for the story. And he's been sending, after some development artwork, about a page a week, he's been doing an oil painting. These are original oil painted pages. Wow. And it's all done now, and it's going to be out first week of October, the same week as New York Comic Con. So I'm going to be at New York promoting the Big 25. I am so pumped. And I'm going to show you guys tonight some exclusive sneak peeks at some of the artwork. Titan has been sending out a few, sample preview pages, but I'm going to sort of push aside those and show you a few other ones as well. So I could not be more proud of our team. Everyone on the crew is just phenomenal. And this one is like, it really is like a celebration, I think, of what we've been doing, all the hard work we've been putting into the series, year after year. Hold on one sec. Oh, I had the page up. Of course, the minute that I start, I'll do all that.
That's all right. Here, while you're looking for it, no problem, buddy. While you're looking for it, and I don't know, we might still be on a delay to each other. I'm sorry to say, but here I'll bring back up the images from issue 23, and
there we go.
Honestly, Jim, these images are so great. Okay,
I know.
All
like
right.
Dagnino's,
we'll put it up in a second, but right now for 23,
so killer. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The quality we've been getting from all the art teams, like Roberto De La Torre and Doug Braithwaite, Danica Breen, and now Fernando Dagnino. Like everyone on the monthly book's been awesome. We did that Battle of the Blackstone, miniseries last fall with Jonas Scharf. And now this fall, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Ivan Gill's work on Scourge of the Serpent. But man, everyone, I feel so like just blessed with the quality of work we've been getting and with the dedication people have been bringing to the series. It is such an honor to be able to do this stuff and to have people who are just as passionate about the material as I am. All right, let's take a sneak peek here at issue 25. It's going to be out in just I can't believe about a month now, like less than a month. Really.
All right, so
so I've got the
did we miss final order cutoff?
It's literally today. Would you believe it or not? So if people want to snag it, they can actually snag it today.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. Okay.
No, it's all good. It's all
right.
good.
Well, so yeah, if you're able to order your comics online, you'll be able to order. Okay. Well, here we go. We're adding the image now.
So what you see here is, like I said, every page is an oil painting. It's just a crazy amount of work involved. That is Tarantia. So that's the capital of Aquilonia, the capital city when, of King Conan. Yeah, we wanted to do this just epic scope on everything involved. This character here, we call him the Nomad. He's this mysterious figure who has traversed the land, and he's come to Aquilonia to basically give Conan a challenge to ask him some important questions. And he is initially rebuffed by the guardsmen at the gates, and then finally he is let in. And this is when we finally see, King Conan himself for the first time in the book. And it is just stunning. Every single page is an absolute stunner.
Yeah.
I could not be more proud of the book. Everything just looks so sharp. Everything involved in it, like you hope that when you're working on one of these kind of any issue, but obviously like an anniversary issue like this, everyone's going to put their all into it. And man, oh man, Alex is just, body and soul. Every single page just looks so phenomenal as they confront each other. And this is all when I wrote this story, it's very much got almost like fable-like structure. I kind of compare it to like the Green Knight or something like that. So the first quarter is very slow and kind of, it's got this mythical kind of poetic buildup. And then once we hit the halfway point, everything kind of goes full bore. There's tons of action. There's tons of just insane, crazy, beautiful artwork. And I cannot wait for people to see it. I'm going to pull that away. I'm going to skip ahead. Artwork. Yeah.
Oh,
so I don't want to show some of the pages.
Before you do, I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
I have a question.
Sure. Go for it.
No, the art is beautiful, Jimmy. Before you show us more, I really appreciate. First of all, the format in your normal stuff. You've got a lot of narrative boxes because you need them, and I understand that.
Yeah, big time.
This artwork is so beautiful, and I know Richard Starking is your lettering guy.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you going to handle, dialogue and narrative boxes? Because you've got this great art. I mean, I imagine that's going to be quite a dance.
Totally. Well, that was the thing when we were going through the lettering, like on this particular story and on other ones I've been doing recently, I've been doing it old school. So we've been doing real Marvel style, plot style, where I'll describe the big beats on the page. The artist will do the artwork, and then I go in to do the dialogue and the narrative afterwards. So I know exactly how much real estate I've got on the page. So I'm never going to crowd out the art. I'm never going to, I don't want... the book is a showcase for, in this case, Alex Horley or Fernando or Roberto or Doug or anyone else that's drawing the book. And so for me, being able to do the dialogue after the fact, it keeps me inspired because you look at this artwork and you're like, damn, I've got to live up to these visuals. And then you're also trying to get that kind of lyrical Robert E. Howard quality really to the art. And that's, means a lot to me to be able to pull that kind of stuff off and make it work. And so, in this case, with Alex's pages, I'm very careful about how much dialogue I'm putting on a page, where we're putting those caption boxes, how much narration we're putting in there, because I do want this to be like a showcase. I do want this to give Alex just, the platform he deserves. His work is so phenomenal. He's been in the business long enough that, more people should know him and should be huge fans the way that we are, over at Heroic Signatures. And I think that this issue is really going to put him on the map for a lot more people. And they're going to realize that he does phenomenal covers, but he can do incredible storytelling and mood as well. That's the thing. He's like the complete package. We had such an amazing time working on this issue together and really building this thing. Like, I had the initial vision for it, but this is a collaborative process. And so as soon as that artwork came in, the story evolves and changes in the best way possible, because you've got a partner who is, building this thing and putting themselves into it as well. And both of us wanting to just kind of make, without trying to sound too audacious, like a story for the ages, like something really, really special that hopefully people will read and enjoy in that moment, but also enjoy for years to come. All right, let me show you.
It's a milestone issue, and of course,
big time.
If I may, let me finish my thought.
Oh,
I apologize, Jim. Like I said, unfortunately, I think we're on a delay. So
there's a slight bit.
I'll speak, and then when I finish talking, yeah. So So I wonder also, before you show us more images, have you guys at Titan done any sort of collection of the covers? And also with Alex's work on 25, would you envision any sort of silent issue of just featuring some of the paintings that Alex is doing?
Man, I think that that's a really cool idea. I know some people have talked about doing like having an art book of just the cover material, because between variant covers, obviously, and the regular covers, there's so much art already, out there. So next month we've got a deluxe version, a deluxe oversized hardcover of the first story arc, Bound in Black Stone, that we did in fall of 2023. And I think based on how well that does, then they're gonna decide if they're gonna do more kind of deluxe editions, more kind of art books, or that kind of the higher end kind of reprint material on it. But I know so far that has been probably the most requested thing when people come to see me at the shows. They've got single issues and they're like, when are you guys doing a hardcover? When are you guys doing an omnibus? And, that kind of publishing stuff's out of my hands, but I'm hoping that this deluxe edition of Bound in Blackstone, our first arc, really kind of grabs that collector audience. And then they go, okay, there's definitely a market for this kind of thing as well. These coffee table books and other kind of stuff celebrating. It's crazy. They're doing an action figure based on Bound in Blackstone, and literally this afternoon they sent me one of the prototypes, so I can show this to you here. Check that sucker out. Looks crazy cool. And so this is currently on pre-order at the Heroic Signatures website, and so you can get this guy. I think they're shipping out before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken, but pre-orders are being taken until October 10th, and that's based on Roberto Della Torre's artwork. It's an absolute stunner. It's filled with all kinds of cool weapons and posable stuff. They did this amazing stop motion ad for the toy that they just posted up a couple of weeks ago, where you see Conan, and the figure has got so many different points of articulation. They did like a full little stop motion kind of movie with it, and he's like chopping into monsters and stuff like that. It's crazy what they've been able to do with this thing. Compared to the action figures when we were kids, it's just like night and day. It's so mind busting to me, All right, let's I've got my screen shared there again, so I can show you a little bit more artwork. Don't want to spoil too much story stuff. As you'd imagine, with this kind of an anniversary issue, we've got the opportunity to also kind of flash back and show some key moments from Conan's history. And with Alex here, it's the perfect time, obviously. So this, for example, is the Battle of Venarium, which is kind of the moment when Conan, the young boy, becomes Conan a man, and he's sort of reliving it here in this critical juncture. Because we've got, an M-rated book now, we can go a little more intense than I think people have seen in a lot of the Conan stuff of the past, in the best way possible. So that's been a ton of fun. And then things start to shift and change. All these old memories start sort of mixing together. And I'll just show one more piece here, and I think that will grab people, the classic kind of Frost Giants. So just stunning stuff. Like I said, every page coming in, it was like a year worth of inspiration for all of us in the office, because, usually on a Monday, Horley would send in a new piece, and he would send in sketches for the next one at the same time. And so it'd be this crazy thing where you just keep anticipating the next one and anticipating the next one. And scenes that I had written, 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago, all of a sudden are coming to life visually. And it's this incredible, incredible process. And then when we had all the artwork finally together, I put that lettering script together, and I was able to lavish, attention on it in a way that you don't normally get to do on a monthly book. But because we had this long lead time, and because we knew the goal so far ahead of time, it gave us the chance to really, tweak it in a way that I think is, again, going to help make this one for the ages. Richard and Tyler Smith, who works with Richard Starkings, they're our lettering team, and they just do phenomenal work. And we're going back and forth on the caption placement and shifting things into place, and how big those word balloons are going to be, and just everything, a kind of, like I said, a level of craftsmanship that I'm not saying that the monthly book doesn't get that, but normally there's a little bit more of the kind of that rocket ride of, oh my God, we're going to press right now. And here we knew, in much further in advance what we were able to put together. And I think it's going to really show on the final printed page. And I am so pumped. The fact that it's coming out the same week as New York Comic-Con is going to be, extra special because I get to be there, with the fans, and that issue comes out on the Wednesday and then the show starts on the Thursday. So we're going to have copies obviously at New York. We're actually going to have an exclusive cover for our comic sketch art that will be available at my table in Artist Alley. And I'm so pumped for people to be able to read it. I'm so pumped for it to be out there in the world at last. And that this isn't like, I find lately a lot of series, they hit some milestone book and then they end, or they hit the new number one, kind of reset button or whatever. And we are not doing that here. We are going on and stronger than ever. So I've already got, like, literally today, I was working on 28, 29, 30, like we are onward and upward. And that is the best feeling of all. We've got amazing art teams. We've got a crazy long-term plan. Each fall, we're doing these event series books. So last year we did what was called Battle of the Blackstone, and that's where we took all these Robert E. Howard characters and kind of had them crisscross time and go on a quest with each other. And then this fall, we've got Scourge of the Serpent, which is all focused on, Set, the serpent god, and machinations on a cosmic level that I cannot wait for people to check out. I'll show you some of that stuff as well. I'm just pumped, man. It's like such a crazy fun time. Could not be more proud of
Jimmy. Honestly, yeah, no, and you have every right to be proud, Jim, because truly, I used to get the black and whites in the day, and every time I read one of your things, I'm so happy. It is so home cooking for the old fans. Are you reaching a younger, new audience? Are you anecdotally finding people that never tried Conan until your run?
Yeah, absolutely. What's funny is Conan is generational, right? So, and I mean that in the way you've got people who grew up reading the original pulps, the characters older than Superman. So you've got 30s and 40s kind of readers there. They read the Gnome Press reprints in the 1950s, or they picked up, a lot of people surged in the 1960s with the Frank Frazetta covers on the Lancer or the Ace paperbacks, right? Then you've got through the 70s, 1970 is Conan #1. Depending on how you measure, a lot of people say that's the start of the Bronze Age. And so the Conan comics obviously bring in a whole new cast of readers. In the 80s, you've got the Conan comics running strong, but then you've got the Arnold movie that knocks people out and creates a whole new fan base. In through the 90s, and then you start to get Conan video games. And honestly, for the new generation, Age of Conan and Conan Exiles are these two kind of evergreen video games that there's more content for those two video games on YouTube than anything about the literary works or the comic books. And so what I find is that we're starting to get those people, the video game fans, are coming over and they want to check out the source material, or they've heard the good word about the comic books and they're checking them out. So I'm meeting a bunch of video game fans and that kind of younger generation that's coming in on that stuff. And they want this kind of raw, just unleashed badass sword and sorcery classic, kind of fare. And we're able to bring that to them. And the nice thing about the new series is that it's very new reader friendly. If you know your Conan the Barbarian, you're going to see aspects of it that are very familiar, and we're trying to pull as much from the original pulps, but I'm not doing straight adaptation of the original Howard stories. We're trying to do new stories so we can surprise people and give you cliffhangers where you don't know what's going to happen next, and that you're not intimidated by, like literally the omnibus kind of library that you see there, which is awesome reference material, and I absolutely love that stuff. But for your average, new reader coming in from the video games, they're like, oh wait, there's how many 1,000-page volumes? You're like, that's okay, it's okay, don't worry. You can just come in on Bound in Blackstone 2023. We've currently got 5 trade paperbacks and you're good to go. So it's a lot more a lot less intimidating in that kind of way. So yeah, and then these event miniseries are a chance for us to kind of pull in other cool threads from Robert E. Howard stories, because he wrote more than just Conan. I mean, he really only wrote, depending on how you measure it, fragments and whatnot, like 21, 22 Conan stories, but he wrote over 200 short stories across other genres. So he wrote Westerns and he wrote horror stories. He wrote detective stories and noir. One of the things I had the most fun with is in the latest issue of Savage Sword of Conan, we did a boxing story. So Robert E. Howard has a character called Sailor Steve Costigan, who's this like fast talking, fast punching, troublemaking sailor who goes around the Asiatic seas. And he's never had a comic made of him before. And I was able to do a short story with him drawn by Roberto De La Torre. It looks like something right out of Kubert, man. It's so killer looking. And the response we got from readers was phenomenal. That, there's still the Conan lead story in Savage Sword. So we're doing, you're going to get your Hyborian Age, but then having this as a backup story, I think was a nice, bit of fresh air that people saw something they haven't quite seen before. And it was so much fun to write too, for the exact same reason, just something completely different.
Well, Jimmy, I think I've mentioned it to you before. Sailor Steve Costigan is my favorite of the Howard characters, being a boxing writer myself for many years.
Okay, yeah, you've got to.
It's funny.
I think you might have
remember when the license was held. Yeah. Well, you're going to have to send me the issue, but also I remember talking to someone at Dark Horse when they had the license, and they said, yeah, we're trying to figure out a way, and we might do a Sailor Steve story. But I love it. And for people who don't know, it's a combination of foreign intrigue and fighting. And it's great. And it's, Merchant Marine, Steve Costigan, I can't wait to read it, dude. And so, yeah, you gotta send me that Savage Sword issue, because
big time. What I'll do is
read it. I would love to see
I'll pull up some pages here, because I got to show you, because it's an absolute knockout. Hold on.
Great. Please.
Just one sec here.
Luke is excited to see issue 25, and he's great. He
says
great to see some new King Conan stories.
It is, like I said, just working on all this stuff could not be more of an honor, and the response from readers has been phenomenal. And then being able to do this kind of like the celebration thing, I think that's, knowing that we were going to be able to put this thing together far enough in advance that we can really build it out and just give it the time and the quality it deserves. Because really these stories are so these characters are so cool, and this character has such a phenomenal legacy, and the fact that we've been able to kind of bring some of that back and get readers who haven't been reading this stuff regularly for years and years, and convince them, look, there's something on the stands every single month. The anecdotal, stuff I've been hearing from retailers is that they've got people they haven't seen in years back in the comic book shop, picking up stuff on a monthly basis. Back issues of Conan and Savage Sword of Conan, might have been in the quarter or the dollar bins. And now it's like, oh, these are moving as collections again, because there's this excitement around the character, and there's this excitement around just great old comics. And that's, being part of that legacy is just the best. It is the best feeling. All right, I got to show you some Sailor Steve. I was going to show off I will show off Scourge of the Serpent, but for John, we got to do this because this is his favorite character. I'd forgotten, and so now I want to make sure that everyone knows how good this stuff is. Check this out. So we got a pin up here from Gerardo Zaffino.
I appreciate it.
Share that there. Look at that. So good. And then the actual story itself is just, and Mike the Bulldog. Everyone loves Mike the Bulldog. Look at that. Every page is a banger. Literally.
Outstanding. Look at that. That's fantastic, man.
Writing the dialogue on
all right, if you ever do an audio adaptation.
Oh, yeah. Check this out.
I was going to say, if you ever do an audio adaptation, I'm ready to do the play-by-play.
Oh, that'd be amazing. My name's Sailor Steve Costigan, not to be confused with Soldier Stephen Costigan, my courageous cousin who fought in the trenches in a big world war. And then it goes down here. Oh, don't get me wrong. I sure fight too. Fight like hell. Fighting right now, as a matter of fact, trading strikes with a Punjabi pile driver called Pervez the Python, taking my licks like a silly Brit sucking a gobstopper. And it is just the best, man. Look at this. It does look like
what's great about yes, 100%. And also what I love is, again, a modern writer like you, Jim, because Howard, it's purple prose, and really, unfortunately, there's a lot of stereotypical words used in Howard's original text. It was the 30s. What are you going to do? But the good news is you guys can take the modern guys. I've said this to Ram V as well about when he has tackled pulp subjects. You guys can take the best elements of pulp and put in a modern sensibility where the old days you would have these foreign opponents of Steve, and
Absolutely.
they'd be ugh natives, very stereotypical.
Yeah, totally.
And
we
now
can,
you
we
now
can
you
give
can give them a
everyone
real,
story.
even have, you know, yes.
Check this out.
That's
So here
awesome,
he goes.
man.
Here
That's
he goes.
gorgeous.
The second fedora tried to cut me out, so I cut in. Blip, blim, blam. Then he goes, whatever you saps are selling, the lady ain't buying, you hear? Oh, man. Yeah, working on this was genuinely.
Yeah, he's like more of a realistic Popeye.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, you're not even kidding. There's so many great moments here, and we set up this ridiculous, just like in the original stories, we set up this ridiculous reason for there to be a boxing match. I love this panel so much. Shut up, Pint Weight. Where'd you put the snake ring? I love the exaggeration on the neck. I love the crazy, forceful drawing. It's got such good gesture to it. It's amazing. Oh, man. Yeah, this is good. Which brings us back to now. The part where my face feels like hamburger and my legs are starting to go gooey.
Do you have to are the artists that you're picking for Cost, like for instance Costigan, like are they sharp on doing a boxing action scene rather than just, you know, a sword and sorcery action scene?
Yeah, honestly, Roberto was kind of like, he'd done a bunch of Conan already and he's had a lot of fun, but he just needed a bit of a break. He loves Westerns, he loves noir, he loves all that pulpy stuff. And so we threw it out to him, hey man, what about a boxing story? And he was in with both feet. He just absolutely dug it. And so that's what was so fun about it too, was again, it's about finding the artists who are passionate for the material. It's about, you know, working with those guys and making something that all of us are going to be proud of. That's the key for me, is like, look, not to say that I against anyone taking a gig because they got to pay the bills, because that's obviously how it works with a lot of these things. But being able to find people who love this stuff, you know, whether it's for the variant covers or for the monthly book or what may have you, or Savage Sword. You know, we met Ivan Gill, the guy who's doing Scourge of the Serpent, our fall event book, because he reached out to me. He's been working in the French market. He's been doing these beautiful, crazy bande dessinée of Napoleonic, you know, war stuff. And he reached out to me and he said, you know, I grew up on Conan. It's my favorite character. Could I do a pinup or something for Savage Sword? And I looked over his artwork and I was like, is that all you want to do, is just a pinup? Like, I want you to do more than that if you're available and if we can make it work. So I showed his work to my editor, and the editor, you know, Chris, freaked out because the stuff looks so amazing. And then it was a matter of looking at the schedule and figuring out where he would fit best. And that's where we decided, okay, you know, the next event book is starting to line up. Let's make this happen. And now I can show you some artwork from this. My God, this guy's nuts. Like I said, he's been doing these incredible Napoleonic war, you know, graphic novels. And now it's just like, holy moly. He and João Canola are a hell of a team, the colorist. They're just wonderful together. They've really, really gelled. All right, you should be able to share that now.
Coming up.
There it is. Look at that. He
Should
does not scrimp. He does not scrimp on any of it. So just killer. Amazing. Every scene is a stunner. He does great architecture. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Jimmy, are these people the artists, are they known in their countries? Because, like, you know, are they popular artists already and things?
Right.
You know,
well, that's the thing, because
sorry, everybody.
Yeah, because Ivan's doing stuff in the French market, he's known in that space quite well. And he's known, you know, he actually lives in Spain. It's funny because he's in Spain, and so's Fernando Dagnino, and so's Roberto de la Torre. So 3 of the artists I'm working with on Conan stuff are all in Spain. Doug Braithwaite's in Northern England. So I went to England in May. I went for MCM Expo, And after the show was over, I flew over to Spain and I spent 4.5 days in Madrid. And so I was able to meet these guys in person, and we did some amazing signings. I got to hang out with them and Alberto Albuquerque and Pepe Larraz and a bunch of the other guys who are all the Spaniards, as I was saying, that have just been knocking it out in the North American market and in the European market. And so that was just a ton of fun. It was great to hang out with them. They were all so wonderful. And we did some great store signings over in Madrid, and just really, really fun adventure this summer.
That sounds amazing, Jim. And honestly, this art looks amazing too. Did you want to describe this page that's up right now?
Sure. So in Scourge of the Serpent, last time when we did Battle of the Blackstone, we had all the characters coming together in the Hyborian Age. This time, I've given myself quite a puzzle to play with. There's 3 separate stories happening in their own timelines. So this right here is Kull the Conqueror and Brule the Spear Slayer in what's called the Thurian Age, kind of the ancient past before Conan. And there's a story going on with Kull. There's a story happening in the Hyborian Age with Conan, which is based around a very classic Conan story called The God in the Bowl. And then we also have, in the 1930s, we have a character called Kirwan, and he is this occult investigator, and he ends up getting pulled into his own kind of snake themed shenanigans. And between the 3 of them, all 3 of these stories are going to start echoing into each other. Events that happen in one story ripple backwards or forward through time. And so it starts to get pretty crazy. It gets really, really wild as the supernatural stuff starts to take hold. I don't want to reveal too much more beyond that, but you can see that just the quality of the work is so, so good. The quality of the drawing is really, really sharp. The environments are beautiful. It's just a complete like pulp package in the best way possible.
Jim, is the supernatural detective, is that also a Howard character?
Yeah, so there's not a ton of stories. There's usually so Kirwan has, I think there's 7 stories with him in it. Most of them he's with another character called Conrad. So it's Kirwan and Conrad, and they go on these kind of adventures together. And they showed up, the 2 of them, in Battle of the Blackstone, and they're in several different Howard stories. The one that I'm kind of building off of the foundation of for this particular one is an infamous one called The Haunter of the Ring, because in the original pulp story that came out in the 30s, Kirwan investigates a ring, and it is the ring of Thoth-Amon. It is the ring from the Conan stories. And that's not me adding that into that crossover. That was in the original Howard story as well. And so for me, it's like we're kind of honoring that, cross-pollination of ideas and those pulp kind of concepts by bringing them together in this story as they weave together.
Jim, did Howard live long enough to know about fandom? And I realize a lot of the fandom happened well after his death, and I know he died young. But in the 30s, when he was cranking this stuff out, did he ever get any sort of fan feedback?
I mean, it's interesting. So he passed away in 1936, and Conan was becoming popular. He was in most of the issues of Weird Tales where there was a Conan story. The readers would vote for their favorites, and usually Conan was the favorite for the issues that he appeared in. He and Lovecraft were kind of neck and neck in terms of popularity at that time in the Weird Tales magazine, kind of ecosystem. And so he was seeing success, and he was starting to get known in those spaces. He was a pen pal with Lovecraft and several other writers. So he was starting to understand, I think, something outside of Texas, and more in terms of, he was very well read, but actual interacting with other, authors and understanding that people were becoming fans of his work. I don't know that he really understood the depth and breadth, obviously, in terms of how many people were reading Weird Tales and had no way of course, knowing that those stories would carry on for generations to come. And so it is kind of crazy to think that he did write more Westerns and boxing stories than he ever wrote Conan stories. So if he'd have lived longer, maybe he would have been known in completely different genres. Maybe he would have been a famous author in completely different ways. He had written hundreds of poems, so again, those kinds of things could have struck gold in a different way. Or, the Conan reprints may not have happened because if he was still around, or he had written more and the character became more popular, by his own hand. It's impossible to know. That's what's so kind of crazy about it. The effect that his work has had and been able to carry forward, generationally, even though he was so young, he was so prolific, and the quality of the work, when you look at it, yes, some of the stuff in there is dated, like you were talking about, but the actual lyricism and the explosive kind of prose that he puts on the page, it still staggers me. Like, I read some of these stories, something like Frost Giant's Daughter, which is, I want to say 7,000 words, and the amount of stuff he covers in such a short span, it really is pure pulp in that way of like, no fat, like no space wasted whatsoever.
That's amazing. And I really, well, first of all, I forget what publisher put out a hardcover of Howard's boxing stories, and Gary Gianni, the excellent artist, did the cover, and he even did a remark for me inside the book, which was
Sweet.
just great. But yeah, I'm fascinated by that. The movie, The Whole Wide World. How do you feel about it? And also, have you? And I know D'Onofrio does
Right.
the convention circuit, and he played Howard in the movie. Have you met him? Is he aware of what you're doing with Howard stuff?
So I have not met D'Onofrio. I have seen, A Whole Wide World, and it is a great movie. It's, like any Hollywood kind of biopic, it's got its areas where they're exaggerating different elements of it. But it is fascinating because it's Evelyn Price, who's this woman that he had a relationship with, and it kind of is her, the kind of tragic romance that they share, these two writers, and Howard's difficulties, going through life before he ends up committing suicide. And so it's this, dramatic piece, and it's built off of her letters and off of, actual material. And then in that Hollywood way, they're sort of tightening up little elements of it or repacing bits for added drama. But on the whole, it's a pretty respectful piece, and it's extremely well done. I think D'Onofrio does a really great job at playing the kind of explosive, passionate, person that Howard was from all accounts. And that's, pretty amazing to see in that regard. And again, I think in a best case scenario, we're able to bring people, not just Conan, don't get me wrong, who is my favorite, but also show the depth and breadth of what, Howard was able to do. His horror stories are really great. He did a ton of pirate tales. He did these boxing stories and all these other things. And that his range is kind of further than most people realize. And so, kind of rising tide raises all ships. If we can use Conan to kind of bring more people in the door and show them, look, check this out. The guy that made Conan, he did all these other awesome things as well. And these characters are kind of woven together across this grand tapestry.
Beyond the stories in Conan the Barbarian, you also have the text pieces that are really helping to flesh out some of the history that's depicted in the books. Talk about the text pieces.
For sure. So we've got a secret weapon on our creative team. Jeffrey Shanks is this amazing, he's a literary scholar, and he's a pulp collector. In his day job, he's actually an archaeologist, which is kind of amazing. And so he is a deep, deep collector of all kinds of different pulp. And he has been our consultant at Heroic Signatures on everything related to kind of Howard and Conan. And what's great about him is he's a wonderful, wonderful collaborator. He's a deep researcher. He's passionate about the material, but he also understands that this, we are trying to publish and create entertainment. And so what he does is I'll lay out big story ideas or big beats or things that I want to do. And then he goes, hey, that is a really cool idea. And did you know this obscure, Howard poem references something like what you're talking about, or there's symbology that matches the kind of things that you're doing, or these stories all kind of tie together in funky ways. Maybe you could use them in the future, so that I don't have to have 200 plus short stories and hundreds of poems and all those letters, in my head at any one time. Jeff's the expert, and then he points me towards them, and then I help kind of tie those strings together. And so he's been just an incredible resource and a really great collaborator, and he's become a friend, and that's something really sweet as well. Whenever you work on this stuff, you hope that the people you work with, that you have a bond together. And he's kind of made me, more excited and more passionate about the pulp end of it, and given me more confidence to kind of push out and do big dramatic kind of stories and things that I've been wanting to do, and bolstering, the material that we've got with his knowledge, that we can push it to the limit and make it feel as kind of, legitimate as possible, while also not pushing out modern readers.
The last time we talked, you told me that Roy Thomas gave you really nice compliments. I don't know if you've been in touch with another great Conan guy, Barry Windsor Smith, and if he's aware of what you guys have been doing.
I have not. I've never met Barry. I've never had any correspondence with him. Obviously, it would be an absolute honor. As far as I know, he's focused on all of his own kind of, creator-owned work and his own personal projects. And so he doesn't really dabble in any of the commercial stuff anymore. All the time we get asked from people, man, it would be so cool if he did a cover. It'd be so amazing for him to come back and do something for Savage Sword. But as far as I know, he is just 100% focused on his personal work. It's not to say that it wouldn't, be cool to show him something, or meet him at some future juncture, but he's not really on the convention circuit or anything like that. So it's always that weird kind of feeling of, I don't want to impose on someone, but on the other hand, you're just like a huge fan. And so at some point it would be really, really phenomenal. In a similar vein, I had an experience where earlier, I guess it was late last year, I'm friends with Rihanna Pratchett, who's the daughter of Terry Pratchett, and she knows, of course, everybody in fantasy and science fiction and all kinds of stuff like that. And she ended up making an email introduction to Sir Ian Livingstone, who is the creator of all kinds of, he's one of the founders of Games Workshop, but he's also did these books that I grew up on called Fighting Fantasy. They're almost like these nasty English choose your own adventure books, and I absolutely love them. They're one of my favorite things. And being on, getting introduced to him and getting to send him some of the Conan books, and having him tell me that they made him feel like he was a kid again, was kind of mind-blowing, honestly, in the best way possible. So, man, that kind of a thing, you definitely, it makes you want to, reach out to other people. It would be very, very cool to meet Barry Windsor Smith, obviously, at some point in time, and to chat with him. It's just one of those things of like making the contact or trying not to impose, I guess. Oh, looks like John's connection has sputtered again, so we will make it work. If you're listening to the audio version, we extra appreciate your patience, especially as we're talking about artwork and pages that we're putting onto the screen or things like that. But that being said, while we wait for John to return, I will, I don't know, I talk a little bit, I would guess, about, what it's like working on this character that I grew up on. Conan has, like I mentioned before, he's older than Superman. He's one of the biggest characters in kind of, genre fiction. And anytime you get a chance to work on one of those icons, I've had the chance to write a Batman story. I've written, the Avengers. I've done work on Dungeons and Dragons and other things like that. But I think working on Conan, especially now in this extended way, has given me an even greater appreciation of the fandom that exists over generations and generations of readers, and also, you know, how important it is to be able to do this stuff, and how special it can be to be able to do this stuff and interact with generations of readers who have grown up on it, who've been influenced by it, and it's changed their lives. And that has been one of the most exciting parts of
There we
being
go.
part of this franchise. Oh,
Hopefully Jim will be back in a second, everybody. I'm very sorry for all back on. He's backstage, but I think StreamYard is negotiating getting him on. So you'll forgive me. John is asking,
we got
will
more
we see Old Man
technical
Conan's
hitches.
stories past of the Isles? Or past Old Man stories past Conan of the Isles. Excuse me, John. But unfortunately, Jim doesn't seem to be able to come back. I really apologize, everybody. Unfortunately, StreamYard has been incredibly buggy the last few times that I've done the show, and I've certainly complained to them. But you know something, I'll even see if Jim
Hello? Oh, man, I don't know if this is what's streaming out to the public, but this is wild. If I'm the only one in the studio right now and John's not currently on, this is some weird, buggy stuff we got going on here. Well, if I am live on Word Balloon by myself once again, I will sort of pick up where I was chatting before. I was talking about working on these legacy characters and how special they can be. It really is been an honor to kind of be part of this franchise and to interact with readers, people old enough to be like my grandfather, people old enough to be my dad, people my age, you know, who've grown up on Conan, and now younger people who are super pumped to be reading the adventures of, you know, the world's most famous sword and sorcery character. And at this moment, you know, I get to carry that torch off into the darkness and create new adventures. And that is very, very special. And I hope, you know, I never take that for granted, because it is so cool and it is so special. And you just hope that you get to tell, you know, those stories and make an impact and have people affected by them the way that you have been affected by the stories when you were growing up, or you know, reading awesome stuff now. And that is really what makes this extra special. I don't know if we're going to get John back. I don't know if I am on the live stream correctly, so it's extra weird because I can't see any of the chat feed coming from people because I'm not the host. So this could be one of the strangest episodes of Word Balloon where John and I are like dueling live streams. I don't know how this stuff is working. It is really, really strange. I'm going to actually click on the YouTube link and see if this is. Oh, I am. This is crazy. So I'm on Word Balloon by myself here, and John has vanished. Good times. Technology is wonderful as long as it works. What an odd thing we got going on here. It's just how it is sometimes. Hopefully John can clean up the audio when he gets this down the line. Oh my gosh, he's back. I'm back. He's gone. I have never seen anything like this. I've been on quite a few StreamYard streams, and this one has got to be the buggiest, weirdest one I have ever seen. What I might end up doing is I will go to the YouTube link, and I'm going to mute it so that it doesn't echo, because this thing is going to instantly echo. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so I'm going to scroll back here, and I'm going to look at the YouTube commentary. So someone says, oh, maybe John's back. We're fighting the technology.
But regardless, Jim, you know what we're going to do? Yeah. Listen, this is what we will do. I apologize, everybody. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. I'm going to email Jim, and we will talk and find a different day. We'll do a Zoom. And so we will publish this again and start from scratch. I mean, right now it does seem like everything's okay, but this was so herky-jerky. I will let you answer any of these questions. Hopefully I will not disappear again so I can do this. Jim, are you able to see the chat as well?
I can't see the chat.
To the right of our screen. But here, for instance, John V asked.
Sure.
Okay.
So will we see Old Man Conan stories post Conan of the Isles? So Conan of the Isles is specifically one of the stories that, you know, Sprague de Camp and Lynn Carter did in the 60s version of it. So those particular stories are not original Howard. Not to say that I won't necessarily use anything from them, but it's not the kind of established canon that we're using in the comics or in the current books. We're not really referencing the Sprague de Camp stuff. If anything, we're kind of rewriting those portions, which isn't to say that we will never do an Old Man Conan thing. It's just it won't specifically reference, you know, from the Isles.
John also wants to know, is Titan Comics okay with I'm in bankruptcy? Yes.
I mean, no one's okay with it in the broader sense that obviously it created a lot of chaos in terms of distribution and in terms of problems. I know quite a few retailers were struggling to get a couple of our issues, but we're with Lunar now for North America, and then obviously Diamond UK, which although they're called Diamond, they are a separate company now. And so those things seem to be working well. Penguin Random House does our book distribution, so our book chain stuff never halted. We were able to keep going undisturbed as far as the distribution stuff is concerned. But yeah, for retailers right now, Lunar is your option, and they've seen sales growing rapidly on Conan, which is amazing. Will you create a new Conan villain? Man, Fox Inc., it's like I just paid you $5. I swear I didn't load that question in advance. We literally have a new Conan villain coming in 2026. So your question could not have been better timed. We've got a story arc coming up called The Conquering Crown that's going to take us through issues 27, 28, 29. And then, 26, 27, 28, sorry. And then in 29, we have the origin of a brand new Conan villain. I'm not going to say their name or anything yet, but look forward to it because that is coming in sooner than you think.
All right, Jimmy, I'm going to wrap up, but I will remind people that are staying with the broadcast, and I appreciate it, that here's the image for Conan 25 coming your way next month. Jim will be at New York Comic-Con promoting it as well. But this is a big one-shot event. This is a great jumping on point. I know you hear it all the time, but it's going to be fully painted. Tell them the name of the artist again, Jimmy.
Alex Horley. He's a phenomenal artist. He's been doing magic cards and other fantasy illustrations for years. He's done quite a few amazing covers for us on Savage Sword, and I know this issue is going to absolutely knock you out. It's a perfect place to jump into the series. If you've never read a Conan story before, you will get your own Arthurian kind of epic here.
Beautiful. Yeah, let's record on Zoom, Jim, this week. I'll email you and we'll figure out a day. But
that sounds great.
I apologize, everybody. Jim, I apologize. I don't know why StreamYard. This has been an extremely buggy worse than anything else that has happened in the last couple of things. So yeah, expect an angry email StreamYard. But in the meantime, thanks for struggling with me. Hopefully this will work out, because I really want to do an Ask Me Anything episode tomorrow. And there's the graphic for it. Everything's fair game. And if you have questions, I'd like to hear them. I'd like to be able to do it live. If not, I will send the patrons of Patreon a Zoom link. And if it turns out that we're going to have to use the Zoom link instead, everyone will be able to switch to that, and that's how we'll do it. But yeah, I just want to know what's on your mind. I haven't done a live talk with the Word Balloon audience, and it'd be nice to do that and get everybody's opinions on everything: comics, movies, TV, Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever you want to talk about. So that's coming tomorrow night, hopefully here live, but if not, definitely on the on a Zoom, and will be presented within a day or so. So I hope you'll join us then. Until next time, thanks for watching. Everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.